Hey guys, Quentin here with another weekly update, and this one is an important one. So, by the way, last time I filmed on my phone, I noticed that I had issues with right and left audio channels, so let me know if that's better. Um, so, let's talk ergonomic keyboards. Let's talk trackball keyboards because that's all I've been doing for the last week. I've been a bit overworked, but I've managed to make some really nice progress on them. So, first, this is the cherub disc. If you remember, this is from a week ago, and I was using this PCB by Blamas, which is nice, but it used this level shifter, and I tried a new design with a level shifter that could be hand soldered, and it didn't work because I use high to low level shifter where I needed a low to high. No, it's the opposite. Yeah, you get it. I didn't use the right one, so I ordered a new one, which is let me show you. Installed here, and this is still a bit hard to solder. It's not for the beginner solderers. It's spaced by 1.2 millimeters, but it's still very doable. I still don't know how I will ship those though, because it's a lot of components, and if you mess one up, like the sensor or this one, then the whole thing is useless. So maybe I will have to ship them pre-soldered, even in the do-it-yourself kits, which will take a lot of time. Anyway, this works. It's amazing. It's got M3 holes. Everything is hand solderable. It works exactly like any other PMW 3360 PCB. You just connect it to the Pro Micro Elite C whatever, and it works. It's on Github. It's updated. It's open sourced. Then let's talk about this one. So what happened is I was using this one, and I'm already used to not having a number row on my keyboards, and I thought I'm removing it, might as well go full on and try to remove the last column as well and go with a 5x3. And the Miryoku layout, well, has been very popular on my server and on other ergonomic communities, so I was very curious to try it. And I already had a 5x3, which is a skeletals, which is this one actually. So I worked from this design and designed this, which I believe I consider one of my greatest works yet. It looks amazing. I did make a few prototypes, of which I have one here, because as you can see, the whole thing just floats in the air and is only held by those two columns and this one here. So I made a few prototypes to make sure it's strong enough. There's a little bit of bend, but I'm pressing. Oh yeah, there, broke it. See, I have to press really hard to bend it, and it's really not gonna be an issue at all. And it looks really cool. Like this with the tent, it looks really good. Got a little HAL 9000 theme going on here. Anyway, that's the 5x3, and it works. And so I've had time to play with Miryoku and discover home row mods, which so far I like a lot. There's been a few issues with the model. So this specific keyboard that you have here, it's the first build you will see. It's a little bit damaged here because I had to sand it, because this key was colliding with the support here. So what I did is, on the new model here, I made this connection a little bit smaller, and it works perfectly. I've also reinforced this part here, which is actually very close to what broke, so it's a good sign. Reinforced it so that the whole thing is sturdier, and all around a few design tweaks here and there, but this is pretty much the final design, and there's also a 10 for it. And what I will do is, when I release this one on GitHub, I will put this one and this one also on the same repository with all the 3D files ready to print. I'm still unsure on if I want a 6 column version though. I have to see, but it's not that much more work compared to this. I just have to add a column, but I do have to make new tents and new plates, and that's gonna take some time. The plate on this one looks a bit ridiculous with this, but it works. So also on the 3D design side, this is exposed, and I'm not sure if I like it. Maybe I will design a cache that you screw in from here, and I will hide the thing, but then the problem is you get kind of like a diagonal thing going on here, like on the Charybdis, and I'm not sure I like it. If I make it optional, maybe it's okay. I don't really have the time now at the moment though. Something I have to design as well is a PCB for the thumb cluster of this one, because here I already have a custom thumb cluster PCB, but it's 3 keys. So what I did is I took this and I cut it here, but the pinout for the ribbon cables doesn't match, which means instead of connecting all 4, because here it's 4 ribbon cables at once, I had to cut it and connect 2, and well, I had to tinker with it. And that's the thing is, for me it's okay because it's a one-off prototype, but for do-it-yourselfers and final users, final builders, I want something proper. So I will have to design a custom thumb cluster PCB for this one, or maybe I redesign this one so that once you cut it here, it's compatible with this one. Then it will mean less PCBs to maintain, which is also nice. Okay, what's next? Firmware. So I've been using this for 2 days now, I believe, 2 full days. And it's a little bit weird because normally I always use tactiles. I like bobas. And the ball dropped. This is Gateron Yellow. So it's linear, it's light. It's my first time I'm using linears on a daily basis. And so far it's okay. And firmware wise, I took the develop branch of QMK, specifically the Tractile manu form of Drashna, and I adapted the code to use Miryoku. And in adapting the code, I had to use the develop branch of QMK because it has PMW3360, the sensor, specific code for it, which makes using a sensor for a trackball much easier than on the master branch. So I used the develop branch, and in implementing Miryoku on this keyboard, Mana Harbor, so the person that originally designed the Miryoku layout, has been extremely helpful. Mana Harbor, if you're watching this, thank you so much, because we're getting really close to a firmware that I can actually ship, and that's amazing news because the firmware was a big part of it. The hardware is done, the firmware is almost to a state where it's okay. It's still very cutting edge, very early adopter, but it's working, and that's great news. And the next things that I will have to do is the build guide. That will be a big one, and I want to rework on the website because at this point I will have Scylla, Mini, Skeletal, Charybdis 6x4, Charybdis, this one will probably be named Charybdis Nano, that's 5, maybe a 6 columns version, that's 6 products. And I was thinking of redoing the website and dividing it by products. So you will have 1, 2, 3 keyboards, 1, 2, 3 trackball keyboards. You click on the keyboard you want, and then you can choose whether you want a pre-build, a do-it-yourself kit, a print-it-yourself kit, etc. So that I will probably work on this during August. It's already August, but end of August. But I am already planning to ship a few very early adopter kits and see and get some feedback, even though there's no build guide even still. Okay, firmware wise, there's still a few things to work on. Mostly the problem is that at least when I'm using it, to make very short movements, I do this. But when I want to properly move the mouse, it's moving, I move the hand a little bit like this, which means I cannot use this side of the keyboard for layer keys or shortcuts. Which means when I want to click somewhere, I need to use this side only. And the problem is that those 4 keys here, ASDF, are already taken by mods. Control, Shift, Alt, GUI. So at the moment, I press this key, and then I have right click, left click, middle click. No, middle click here. And it's not great. So the solution for that is to have a layer, mouse layer, that triggers automatically when you move the mouse. And that's something that's already been implemented in a few trackball keyboards. However, it's the same issue as always, which is there will be eventually a way to add it properly to this keyboard, but it's still in development. And at the moment, the only way to do that is to add some custom code to it, which I'm fine with. I don't know how to do it, so I will be getting help for that. But yeah, the whole thing will be extremely custom. And what I hope is that in 2, 3, maybe 4 months, when QMK gets, the master branch of QMK gets up to speed with the develop branch, this will be more normal and more tightly integrated into QMK. And same thing, I want VL eventually on it, but that won't be possible for some time. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'm actually extremely excited for this one because I've been using it for like 2 days. And okay, the tense are basically mandatory with this one. It doesn't make sense to use one without tense because the hand positions is the position of the hands is much more natural and feels much better. But after using my Scillas and my Mini, which I have here, this is a Bluetooth Mini which I use for some time, and also to try out ZMK. Also, again, thanks Mana Harbor for integrating the shields of the Mini and the Skeletal and the Scilla into ZMK. And thanks to the person who made it a Skeletal shield. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, but we just talk about it on the Discord server. And of all the keyboards I've used, so far this is the one I'm most excited for. And it's been slowly gaining traction. I'm also very excited to have this solution provided for other people who might want to use it in other trackball keyboards. And come on, it looks really good. So again, thanks everyone for following. I will be still working on this. This is the main project at the moment. I will be posting updates on the Discord. The next big steps are build guides and documentation, checklists, which is what do I put in a do-it-yourself kit, and then shipping and firmware. And yeah, it's still a lot of work ahead, but I'm very optimistic. See you next week.